Hi, and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's quick review for True Detective Season 1. So this video is the first in a new series of videos I'm doing called Quick Review, where I give a brief, spoiler-free review of a TV show that is currently airing on television. Although this may include shows that are on hiatus at the time, it only includes shows that are still producing future seasons and have yet to finish their run. So this series is mainly for those who haven't seen the show and are thinking about watching it, but of course those who have seen it are welcome to watch because they'll know more of what I'm talking about. So this year I tried to catch up on many other shows currently airing on TV to try to find good quality ones. So I'm here to report back my results and make my recommendations on what you should watch and what you should avoid. So first I want to talk about True Detective, and to specify, this is just for Season 1 as I have not seen any episode of Season 2, which at the time I'm making this video is currently airing on HBO. Now, I heard a lot of great things about True Detective. Many people were saying it in the same breath as Game of Thrones as a quality TV show that's just as good or better depending on who you talk to. And it's just another example of how great HBO is at making quality TV shows. And I got to say, unfortunately, I disagree. This show came as a huge disappointment as I was expecting so much more out of it because of all the hype. Bear in mind, for what I'm about to say next, that I named The Wire the most overrated show of the 21st century. So bear that in mind when I say The Wire was better than True Detective. And if you want to watch a quality cop show, I'd say just watch The Wire instead. Because The Wire's greatest strength and its greatest weakness was its sense of realism. And that was what I was expecting from True Detective. After all, it's a show called True Detective, so you think it's gonna present a sense of realism, but that's not what I got. Instead, True Detective had a distinct disconnect from realism, as the characters would often monologue and speak in ways that are more fitting into a 1950s noir novel than anything actual detectives would say in real life. Just the adjectives and metaphors they were using was just too much. I mean, no one in real life talks like that. And the story itself was nothing original. It was the same type of detective serial killer story rewrapped and repackaged, and it presented nothing new or original. In fact, the only reason to watch this show would be the outstanding performances by Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. Matthew McConaughey in particular delivers an outstanding performance that is beyond what you normally find in television. And True Detective did present well-rounded and interesting characters with fairly interesting character story arcs to match. It just ultimately didn't go anywhere that made the journey worth it, and was all centered around a cliche and mediocre storyline about a two-dimensional serial killer. There was always potential for the story to go in different ways to explore social commentary on the corrupt businessmen or McConaughey's character's pessimistic philosophy on the world, but they never fully realized this potential and never took it to a place that made it all worthwhile. I would say True Detective is like a turd someone took, polished it off, made it sparkle, took away the smell, presented it in a beautiful, pretty package. Although it's been made up to look really pretty, at the heart of it, it's still a turd. Although calling the story a turd probably isn't the most accurate analogy because the story doesn't suck, it's not inherently flawed, it's just boring and unoriginal and adds absolutely nothing new to the genre, giving audiences no real reason to watch. The only reason to watch it is the high production value, the great acting, the dynamic characters, but all of this is ultimately just window dressing that ultimately means nothing if it's built around a mediocre and unoriginal story. That, I'm afraid, True Detective is. So my rating for True Detective Season 1 out of a 10 is a 5 average. Matthew McConaughey's amazing performance holds this show up and prevents it from getting a lower score, but the unimaginative, mediocre story prevents this show from getting a higher score. Maybe my personal bias against the cop show genre is showing, and I think fans of it may actually prefer the show more than I do. But honestly, that was a genre I just never got into, and I really couldn't see the attraction. And if you really want to see Matthew McConaughey give a great performance, watch Interstellar. He gives a great performance there, and it's a great story as well. So much more worthwhile. So another question I will ask at the end of each of my quick reviews, which will become a regular segment, is will I watch the next season? And for True Detective, I think the answer is going to have to be no. I will not watch the next season because, as I said, McConaughey was the only reason to watch the show, and he's not even in the next season, as each new season will apparently feature different characters with a totally different story. And seeing how disappointing the last story was with the stereotypical noir genre tropes being employed, I can pretty comfortably say that the chances are high I won't enjoy the next season, so I'm not going to bother with it. So that's it for my quick review on True Detective Season 1. I'll be giving a quick review of a show currently airing every Monday for the next couple of months, so make sure you subscribe to keep up with all that, and thanks a lot for watching.